The first thing that I want to talk about is how to create totals or sums in Sheets or Excel. Now, let's say, for example, that we wanted to know just what the total number of confirmed cases were for our top 5 countries with most confirmed cases, right? So we've got the United States, Spain, Italy, Germany, and China. That's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top countries with the most confirmed cases. Now, there's a couple of different ways we can do this, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to create a formula that is an addition formula, right? It's going to add up, give us a sum, which is the answer for an addition problem, right? We learned that in probably in elementary math. So we want to create a sum for all of these values. So let's say first we're going to create a header here. We're going to say total confirmed, and we're going with our top 5, so we're just going to say top 5. All right, so that means our total number of confirmed cases in our top 5 countries here. There's a couple different ways you can do this. If you look over here and you put your cursor over top of this farthest to the right icon here, it's going to say functions. Now, if you're in a non-expanded window, it may give you may have to click on a little icon here that expands this to show these functions. Now, you can click on this and it's going to give you a drop down of a number of different things you can do. You'll see the first one says sum. Now, if we click on that, it's going to give you this thing where it says equals sum, and then you're going to have a blank deal on here, right? Now, the easiest way to get a sum for some numbers on here, if they're in a series, is just to click and drag. So we're going to click and hold on this one and drag down our top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm just going to hit enter, and just like that, I've got the total for those top 5. So this is all those added up equals 733,565 total cases in the top 5. So let's say we wanted to do that, but we weren't necessarily going to use this function formula because there's more than one way to do this, all right? So you see how when you click on this, it doesn't show you, so if I click on this cell, for example, it's going to show me 305,341, right? But if I click on this one, it's going to show me my formula. So another way that we can do this is we can actually just type in the formula. So let's say I'm going to delete this. Instead of going over here and clicking on sum, I could also type in the formula. Every time you put in a formula on, you're going to start with equals. So I could say equals sum, and now I'm going to put a parentheses, and I'm going to look at my range here, right? Now I could do the same thing that I did when I clicked on the sum up here and just click and drag those top 5, or I could type it in. So my first number is going to be cell B2, column B, row 2, right? B2, and I want to go all the way down to China, so I'm going to go down to B6. Now I have to separate these if I'm going to create a range by a colon, which is these 2 dots, right? So I put a colon, and then my last number in my range, what we say is B6, so I'm going to put in B6, and you'll notice, I'm going to close those parentheses, and you'll notice that it has created this box that shows my range of numbers that I'm going to create a sum for, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to get the same number. Now, this is obviously seems more complicated to have to memorize how to create these formulas than going up here, and that's true, but it's just to let you know that there's more than one way to do it. So that's the basics of how to create a sum, and again, that's if I would just want to add up a range of numbers, that's how I create a sum and generate that using that formula.